Hi, ready to go. Thank you.
Well, I guess since we started the recording now, I should give it a nice introduction since I'll be the first speaker.
Please do.
Welcome to the Pathways Seminar on Graduate School. And prior to my coming on, we had Professor Pillay give an overview of some of the opportunities that are available here at ASU and elsewhere in terms of the different sorts of master's degree, the MS versus the MSE. Again, the MS is a more research-oriented degree where you would work on a thesis, and the MSE is one where you would do a bit more coursework, and then you would have to pass what we call the MSE comprehensive exam specific to the area at the end of that program. And then, of course, there's a PhD program. The PhD program is very much research oriented, and it is really designed for people to who want to go into research, especially if you want to go into academia. It's really a requirement. And one of the things that I like to say about PhD programs is that you work an awful lot on a very, very narrow area. So you end up learning a lot about some very specific thing without necessarily learning some of the broader skills that you might need to be successful. So again, I think the probably if you're planning to work in a commercial endeavor for a for-profit business corporation, which is I think what most engineers end up doing, the master's degree is probably the most appropriate choice. And it is really an appropriate choice for those who want to remain mostly technical in their careers. Now, some people complete an undergraduate degree in engineering and decide that they don't want to really pursue a career in engineering, but they would like to further their education. And I know personally many such individuals. So what are some of the things that you could do after completing a degree in engineering if you weren't interested in continuing in engineering? Well, suppose you're interested in becoming a manager of engineers or managing engineering programs. In that case, an MBA might be an appropriate choice for you. And we do, of course, have MBA programs here at ASU and elsewhere. And one who completes an undergraduate degree in electrical engineering is very well qualified to pursue an MBA and could be quite a contributor to whatever enterprise they join with that sort of background. I know other friends and colleagues of mine who did an undergraduate degree in engineering, and then they went to law school and they've become intellectual property lawyers. Now, at one time, being an intellectual property lawyer was a very lucrative career. I think it's become a little bit less so, at least this is what I'm told recently. But nevertheless, it might be something that if you're interested in doing, I've had several students that have completed their senior design class with me, at least two that I know of that became intellectual property lawyers. So it is a possibility. Medical school. I've worked with several students who actually ended up going on to medical school and becoming very successful doctors. I recently worked with a medical doctor, a neurologist. He was actually a pediatric neurologist. He worked with children that had been, traumatically injured and trying to diagnose their issues. So you see, if you get a brain injury, one of the things that happens to your brain is that it swells, and you've got to oftentimes open up the skull to allow that swelling to occur so the brain doesn't get damaged. And there are diagnostic methods that are highly electrical engineering intensive. And so I was working with the doctor on perhaps using things like electrical impedance tomography and those sorts of things. So you can even combine medical school with engineering know-how and make a very good and useful contribution. You know, I have several colleagues in the School of Earth and Space Exploration who completed undergraduate degrees in electrical engineering, and then they went on and got graduate degrees in physics. And they work with instrumentation for better understanding the universe, radio telescopes and things like that. So there are all sorts of career paths that are open to you once you complete a undergraduate degree in electrical engineering. And some of these are quite closely related to electrical engineering. Some of them are, you know, furthering your knowledge in electrical engineering, and some of them could be quite diverse from electrical engineering. So you should see what it is that you enjoy in life and try to pursue those things that, you know, make you happy and make you feel like you're contributing to society. There's something to be said for, you know, completing your day of work and putting aside all the frustrations that one normally encounters in a day of work and just feeling like, hey, I made a contribution today. So I hope that all of you will have that sense with the work that you choose. Have I used up my time?
Yeah, I think we should go ahead and cut him off.
I can answer any questions. I noticed the chat is, oh, it's Lynn.
It's just me.
Never mind.
Put in a link for our graduate programs and also the Engineering Career Center. So like Dr. Aberly was just saying, you should explore all of your options. And if you are weighing your options of grad school versus working in the industry, be sure to use Handshake to see what your options are for positions, what you're qualified for, and be sure to be creative with your keyword searches. Because all types of positions fall under different umbrellas. So if you search for electrical engineer, a lot will come up, but if you want to be more specific and put analog integrated systems or something like that, that would bring up probably some different postings as well.
Yeah, and while you have these faculty here, please don't be shy about putting questions in the chat. I think you can tell Dr. Aberly has a lot of experience and is willing to answer anything you throw at him.
And if you're too shy to put something in the chat right now, feel free to reach out to me by email, and I'll try to, you know, help you however I can.
Well, we probably should move on. Cheryl, who is next on our agenda today?
Next, we have the accelerated 4+1 program.
Ooh, fun.
Actually, do we want to do 4+1 or do we want to do robotics? Dr. Redcar, do you have a preference?
Hello, I'm here.
Would you like to present first or would you like 4+1 to present?
Oh, I can go first. That's no problem.
Since you're here, I wanted to give you the option.
Okay, I guess I can go first if it's okay with everyone.
That'd
Yes.
be perfect.
My name is Sangram Redkar, and I'm a graduate program chair for robotics and autonomous systems program. This program is across multiple disciplines. So you can choose to get a master's in robotics and autonomous systems, specializing in artificial intelligence, electrical engineering, systems engineering at Poly, and mechanical and aerospace engineering. And we are adding biomedical engineering to the program. This is an exciting field, as probably you must have seen that we are in something called as Industry 4.0. That is the area of automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence. ASU has a fantastic facility and faculty who work in the area of robotics and autonomous systems. And if you are really passionate about building robots, developing smart systems, integrating humans and machines, and maybe looking at how the systems work, the robotic systems, like swarms, multiple robots working, interacting with each other, social robotics, rehabilitation, helping people to better their lives, improving quality of work, wearable exoskeletons for worker wellness. We have faculty who work in that area. A lot of new robotics faculty have received NSF Career Awards. So that is a fantastic news. And the research labs are thriving. ASU has made a significant investment in the area of robotics. So I would encourage you to reach out to the faculty who are on robotics faculty roster, as well as visit all the labs either virtually or in person and see and take a look at the projects that they are going on. ASU is part of the Psyche initiative where we are sending a spacecraft to a remote asteroid, and robotics is an integral part of it. We have people who are working in the dynamics, control, and making robots more and more intelligent and self-learn. So I would encourage you, if you're passionate about or interested in knowing about robotics, and to be honest with you, looking at the background and courses that typically electrical engineers take, you are well positioned to be successful in the field of robotics, and you can pursue robotics as hobby, or you can pursue robotics as your passion and make it a career out of it. Current job outlook for robotics engineers is very strong, and you can see that from the LinkedIn and the job postings. You can see driverless cars driving around Tempe, Chandler, Mesa area. You can see Amazon Robotics is coming up with the drone delivery. So this is time for the robotics and autonomous systems. So I would encourage you to take a look at website which direct to gain. There are quite a few in this area. For an example, from electrical engineering, I think Jonikos and Nakram and other faculty actively working in the area of robotics, or you are welcome to reach out to me, and I would be more than happy to spend time with you and talk to you about what career options you have and how to go about making a career in the field of robotics. And certainly, if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask me now, or you are welcome to send me an email, and I would be happy to uh, give you a tour of the robotics lab at Polycampus, or answer any questions that you may have.
Dr.
And
Ricard,
that's it from my side.
Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. There is a question in the chat about when do you expect the biomedical degree to be implemented, and what courses should we do?
Okay, biomedical engineering is supposed to go live next year. So we would start recruiting and admitting students from next year. It's already approved. The course list is ready. And one thing I just want to tell you is my recommendation to everyone is to look at 4+1 robotics program. In my personal opinion, it is one of the best options available for ASU students, because what happens is quite a few undergraduate courses get directly transferred to your +1, and then basically you finish your master's in 4 years. And it's even not 4 years, because you get your master's at the end of spring semester. Means you finish your bachelor's, spend fall and spring at ASU, and graduate with a master's and a bachelor's. That saves you a lot of time, that saves you a lot of tuition. And since you are in the zone of studying, those courses would be easier for you. As an undergraduate student, you can also take graduate level courses, and that will give you better understanding of the concept and practical applications. You can also do, depending upon your concentration, thesis or a project. So I would urge you all to take a look at 4+1 program. And I'm sure Bob or Lynn can tell more about it. Is you can finish your bachelor's in electrical engineering and continue with a master's in robotics and autonomous systems and get that degree in 1 year. So you are gonna get a bachelor's in electrical engineering and master's in robotics and autonomous systems. I mean, you can't beat that. And if you need some help or if you need some additional guidance or have questions, please reach out to me, Lynn, or Bob, and then we would be happy to answer the questions. Are there any questions? I'm sorry, I can't see the chat window, but are there any other questions? I would be happy to answer.
Thank you, Dr. Redkar. Are there any other questions for Dr. Redkar, who's in charge of the Robotics and Autonomous Systems program? We're being a little shy with questions today, but thank you very much for your time, Dr. Redkar. We'll be sure to, Lynn will be presenting on the 4+1 a little bit more in depth, so the students will be very clear on how that works.
Yes, thank you. It was nice to you all, and have a good day.
You too, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Cheryl, I believe we had, did we have Dr. Reislein next, or what did we have next?
I believe Lynn, is that correct?
Annalisa and I are going to talk about 4+1, and then Dr. Reislein will be presenting last. So I'm just going to present real quick on a couple of grad school options, and then Annalisa is going to go into more in depth on the 4+1 program. So Annalisa, if you could go to the next slide for me. So this is a quick wrap up on the programs that we offer within ECEE. So the EEMSE, that's our most popular program. It's our master's program in which you do 10 classes and a written comprehensive exam at the end of your program. The EEMSE is the only program that we offer online. So if you're an online student and you would like to stay online, you're going to be looking at the EEMSE program. We do have that available in 4+1, and Annalisa will be talking about that more in a bit. Our EMS program is thesis. So that's the difference between the MSE and the MS. And the MS thesis program is only offered in person. We also have our PhD program. And then you'll be hearing from Dr. Reislein in a little bit about the CEN programs, the computer engineering programs. This is a joint program between our unit and the computer science unit. So you'll take a mix of electrical and computer science classes. So we have the master's program and also the PhD program for that as well. Dr. Redkar just presented on the robotics program, which is the joint program between now 5 schools. So when you're weighing your value, like you're looking at all your options, you don't know what you want to do for your master's program, you're interested in a little bit of this, a little bit of that, some of that, really carefully consider which program will allow you to take the classes that you want to take. So if you do have an interest in some of the computer science classes, you might want to lean more towards the computer engineering program. The robotics program is great because you are required to take classes in different units. So you do have to take some mechanical classes, you have to take some electrical classes, and then you can also take some computer science, biomedical, and engineering from the polycampus classes. So that's a great way to really sample a lot and customize your graduate program. So I put in the very first chat was a link to our graduate program's website. I'll put it in again for those of you who have just joined. Take a look at what all of your options are and let us know if you have any questions about our programs. Annalisa, will you present on 4+1 now?
Yes, good morning, everyone. So happy that you've joined us. How many of you are curious about the 4+1 program? Has anyone heard about it? in either your ASU 101 courses or from your current instructors? Well, hopefully you have. We're very pleased to offer the EEMSE to both online and on-ground students. Typically, you will need 10 classes, a minimum of 30 credit hours. You would share 3 of your either technical electives or potentially an upper division math, science, engineering elective between the BSc and the MS. And you can also reserve a class if you'd like to. You can't share or reserve more than 12 credit hours. The culminating experience is the comprehensive exam, and typically it takes about a year. So this is really the benefit of the 4+1 program, the ability to share credit hours between the BSc and the MSc. So there's approved double dipping so that your time to complete your master's degree is shortened. Typically, it would take 1 year. Those are approximate times. The CEN Masters is offered only in person, while the RAS, the Robotic Autonomous Systems Masters, is also currently only offered in person. Now, if there are any changes to that, our department would send out announcements. Any questions on that? Okay. So some important degree requirements for the BSEE to MSEE. You typically select an area of specialization at time of the application. You focus on 1 or 2, and the areas of specialization correspond to the 6 areas of specialization in your undergraduate degree that are represented by our pathway courses. Your comp exam will be based on the area of specialization that you choose at the time of application. This is a active hyperlink to some sample programs of study, and your culminating experience again would be the comprehensive exam in your final semester. Typically, it'll take 1 year after graduating with your BSc to achieve your MSEE. For the CEN master's degree, the comprehensive exam is based on 2 core required courses, and then you have to complete 4 area courses from an approved list that we will share with you once you contact us to express your interest. Again, here are some hyperlinks about the degree requirements, check sheet, and approved area courses. This is only offered for on-ground students, but you do have a choice as an on-ground student to either do a comp exam or a thesis. And again, this will take about 1 year after achieving your BSEE. It depends on, though, whether or not you do the thesis. Sometimes if you do the research engaged for the thesis, it may require an additional semester, depending on the nature of your research. And then finally, the RAS master's degree. The comp exam is based on 2 required courses. You've got to complete a specific subset of core courses and a certain amount of courses and electives outside of EEE. And that information can be found on these hyperlinks. Any questions on that? So in terms of the application requirements for the 4+1, our GPA requirements are extremely strict. For the BSc to MSCE, you need a 3.5 cumulative or major GPA. This is the only program that we would specifically also consider your major GPA, and that might bode well for you if you're a transfer student. For the BSc to CEN Masters, we're looking at a 3.0 cumulative GPA. While for the RAS BSc to Masters, we're looking for a 3.5 cumulative GPA. You are able to apply once you've completed up to at least 90 credit hours, or typically it's the semester before you begin senior design. So the semester before you begin EEE 488. Questions on that? So how the 4+1 program works are you share or reserve classes, and you can do up to 12 credit hours of sharing and reserving. That's where you save time and money because you're taking those courses while an undergraduate and they are counting toward your graduate degree. Obviously, it'll depend on if the courses you choose to share are 3 credits or 4 credits. So we'll work with you to help you figure out what the best path forward is in terms of maximizing the sharing and the reserving option. How and when to apply for 4+1? Again, I just said if you've completed 90 credit hours or if you're in the semester prior to starting EEE 488 senior design. Our deadlines are July 1st for fall semester start and December 1st for spring semester start. How do you apply? Well, you first go to the application form that you find on the ECE website and you will view the sample plans of study. On your application, you'll list the 10 classes that you'll take toward your master's degree and then email your completed or your work in progress application to me. My name is there at the bottom left at asu.edu. Lynn is our senior coordinator for grad programs and she's in charge of all of the PhD, the master's, and the umbrella over the 4+1. She can be reached at eceegrad@asu.edu. Just to let you know, when you apply for the 4+1 program, you will be emailing back and forth with me until we get your application tweaked perfectly. So that's not unusual. We are hosting a 4+1 drop-in advising session on November 4th. Here is the Zoom link. If you have any questions, you are always welcome to stop by. And every semester we offer 2 to 4 of these drop-in advising sessions. Again, you can also call our academic advising office and you can schedule an appointment with me so we can talk about the 4+1 specifically in your own case. All right, any questions?
Thank you. It looks like Lynn's been doing a good job of managing some of our questions in the chat.
I've been away. So for those of you who aren't looking at the chat, I'm going to just do a quick summary of what the questions were. Of if our other programs are going to be offered online soon or not sure. That's something that the faculty are in discussion about, but we always remind them about your interest. Can you apply for the 4+1 during your first capstone class? So you've already started your senior year and you have 1 semester left to go. Yes, you can. Please reach out to us. If you are not currently meeting the 4+1 GPA requirements, but you might be close or you want to know what your options are, still reach out. It does not hurt to ask. And then what is the difference between the MS and the MSE? So the MSE requires 10 classes and a written comprehensive exam in your area of specialization. And the MS is thesis-based. So that's just for the electrical program specifically. The CEN and the robotics programs are just MS, but they have both options built within. So all of our programs default to the comprehensive exam. And then if you find a faculty member who's willing to oversee your research, you can switch to the thesis. So be sure to reach out if you've got more questions about the differences of those.
Thanks for that summary, Lynn. That helps. Any other questions about general programs? I believe now we move on to Dr. Reislein. I keep trying to push him up earlier. I just get so excited about CEN. So, Dr. Reislein, are you ready to present on CEN?
Oh, yes, I am. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, this is computer engineering. So I think the process is I need to share the screen, right, to show my slides, correct?
Please
correct.
do. Your co-host,
Okay.
you can go right ahead and share.
Okay, so I'll do that now. Here we are. So basically, we have a presentation here. I'm not sure whether it's super interesting, but it gives an overview about computer engineering. So computer engineering is the joint program between the computer science school here at ASU and electrical engineering. You see those 2 buildings here. And it is essentially a transdisciplinary program that bridges across from computer science to electrical engineering and in between. And there's a statement here that you can read, and basically to motivate this better, maybe I want to give maybe a more technical insight. Where this is motivated from, and show you a recent article that we've been working on. My specialty is communication networks, so that's the area that I best understand. However, the general trends that I'm describing here, they apply to essentially all fields of electrical engineering and computer science. So in communication networks, it used to be that it was a TCP/IP, the transmission control protocol, and the internet protocol were ruling the internet for 40 plus years. And it was specialized hardware routers from Cisco and Juniper that were routing the packet traffic through the internet. But the last 5-10 years, there's been a trend towards softwareizing all the network functions. And Cisco and Juniper and so on are very afraid of this because it's essentially pushing them out of business. And it's a very exciting time on the other hand, because networking becomes very flexible and open. And so what's happening is that all the functions that are routed traditionally routing, and actually only routing, that function can be taken over by any general computing box. And this box can do much more. And you see a general, we call it GPC, a generalized computing platform here on this figure. And the packets come into this hardware module. That's a generalized computing infrastructure. And that can be provided by Intel, ARM, any of the common computing companies. Now the problem is a generalized, is your PC, is your smartphone very good at handling packet traffic, as good as a Cisco router? Well, probably not, right? Because Cisco has been working on this for 40 years to optimize packet traffic handling. And the Intels and ARMs and AMDs of the world have been optimizing for computing. So how do you handle packet traffic efficiently on a generalized computer? That's the traffic, that's one of the key challenges that computer engineering is facing right now in my field of specialization in communication network. And there's a lot of work going on at Intel, AMD, ARM to handle that. And you build these specialized little modules that are smart accelerators to handle protocols and algorithms within the constraints of electrical engineering. So that's exactly computer engineering, where the protocols, the algorithms that traditionally ran on supercomputers are now optimized to run on very specialized hardware modules. So you're bridging between software and hardware, and it becomes one essentially. And that's what we're trying to do here. And there's different approaches where you can then have acceleration modules that handle various functions. You can offload this to accelerators, and there are a host of paradigms. You may seem familiar terms here. It could be a container function running on Docker engines. There could be a hypervisor running on a virtual machine. So essentially, in many fields, we're now at a stage where, if you think of computing way back 20, 30 years ago, was to move away from a vertically integrated system into a horizontal system where you had a processor, hypervisor, then you run the operating system on top of it and the applications. That is happening just now in many, many fields, that we break up these vertical silos and are building these horizontal modularized systems. And that is going on right now. And that's why there's a lot of demand for computer engineers. And so I'll show you some more examples how this instantiate now in various systems. Flip forward here a lot. So that here is an example of how ARM, for instance, is handling that. They have a very specialized Neoverse platform, they call it, which is very specialized for the I/O. We're not going into details here, of course, but it gives an impression of what's going on to handle software algorithms efficiently in electrical engineering. So it's the ARM solution here. But the others are not holding back. So here's AMD, for instance. AMD has it's their own platform that is, again, is a specialized design for this. And to be fair, I also mentioned Intel. Intel is also doing this, of course. They have their own system again. So there's competition. There's a lot of activity trying to work at this intersection between computer science and electrical engineering. Yeah? So that is the motivation for computer engineering as being a very, very hot field. Now, after this, let me go back maybe to the PowerPoint here real quick. So we have covered that, and this trend that I described for communication networks is just on the right. That's just communication networks, but the same general paradigm shift is going on everywhere. You have it in wireless hybrid systems, in distributed systems, in autonomous systems, in autonomous cars. This is going on everywhere. And therefore, it's very much some visuals of these areas that are all affected. Medicine is also very important in this context, of course, surgical robots, with rovers, and all that. So computer engineering is very, very important in all those fields. And so what can you do now? You can do, of course, the masters, and we encourage you to do that. I think Lynn and all the advisors have been talking about it. We also want to highlight that a very flexible PhD program. Our PhD program in computer engineering is very research oriented to allow you to work with the faculty members and dive deep into these different topic areas. And we have very minimal course requirements to allow us to do a lot of independent studies to go deep and have a very cohesive program. Also, we have a very flexible internship program that allows you then to tie into industry that's working on these topics. Any questions here at this point? Should have asked earlier. If there's any questions? Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah. Oh, Christopher. Yeah. Good to see you here.
Yeah, good to see you.
So Christopher is my communication networks class.
Yeah. So it's my understanding that a PhD program, essentially what you do is you learn about the field and you specialize in a particular part of the field. But you can't be a PhD until you contribute to the field via a thesis or a dissertation. Is that right?
That is exactly correct. And so the PhD is a research degree. Of course, you do courses. It's the foundation for getting to the boundary of where knowledge currently. You have to imagine this is a sphere. It's a sphere, and you need to figure out what is the curvature of this sphere. When I get to that curvature, it's a boundary of what is current knowledge to where's the unknown. And now in your PhD, you cross this boundary from what is known into the unknown, and you extend this sphere a little bit. So you make a little bump to the sphere to expand the range of knowledge a little bit. Yeah. And practically speaking, it's usually done through publications. Typically in engineering, electrical, computer science, engineering, you would work on 2 to 3 journal article volume type of research, original research, and that constitutes then this required bump in the sphere of knowledge, so to speak.
That was a very good analogy. Thank you, Professor.
So, thank you.
So if that's the case for PhD, then how does the master's thesis work? Is it the same type of bump you're trying to increase?
It's a smaller bump. It's the same principle, it's a smaller bump. Yeah. However, quite frankly, masters is fine, but I would caution you if you always think, what is the goal? Where are you headed for? Yeah. If you're headed for an industry position, my recommendation, my experience usually is that an internship would serve better than doing a master's thesis because you tie into the problems and the procedures and how this is approached in industry. In academia, it's a kind of a different universe a little bit. And so if you do a master's thesis, you could kind of, you tip your feet into a little bit to test the waters and then decide do you go on for a PhD. So I would recommend a master's with a thesis really only if you are kind of want to test the waters. Is the PhD for me? And then use as a launching pad into a PhD. But if you definitely say, okay, I have no interest at all of going for a PhD or going into research and development long term, I'm not sure if it's very efficient in terms of education to do a master's as a thesis.
Okay, thank you, Professor. I appreciate that.
And I hope I comply and I align with the journal advising. I see Lynn smiling. Hopefully that's also the. I mean, there's different worlds, right? There's the academia versus industry and making it practically work, and then of course there's all the formalities of getting a degree, right? So it's very different things that have to come together to make it work.
Absolutely.
Very much, Dr. Reistein. Are there other questions like that? That was a great question.
Any other question about PhD, masters, anything else? If not, maybe let's move on. Here's a quick note on our admission. What I want to highlight here, perhaps it's very important, it's on the bottom here, unfortunately. So if you're thinking of going to computer engineering, you need background in those computer science, data structures, algorithms. So you see here CSE 230, CSE 310 listed. So please do work with your advisors to get those into your undergrad degree, IPOS, when you're thinking, even only thinking about a CEN degree. At the same time, make sure to have, of course, the EE courses covered, 203, 350, and a solid math background is also required. But for EEs, it's more a challenge to have the CSE side covered. You do need a 310 because you will go on and do CSE 551, which is Foundation for Algorithms. And it's very, very important for computer engineering to have a solid background in algorithms because it's exactly about these algorithms and the EE worlds coming together. So you need to be able to understand those sides. Yeah. Any other questions? Any questions here? So just make sure the work with advisors to do this all in. And here is in the list on the computer science side, Mr. Raxio Holonesian is the lead advisor, and for us at EE, it's you and Grad. Any questions? All right, if you're all good, then thank you for attention. And the advisors will be standing by, or also can be reached by email if there are any questions. So with that, I can then hand back to Cheryl. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reislein.
Yes, thank you.
Sure, you're welcome.
So while we're doing wrap up, if there's any last questions, I want to share this infographic from the Dean's office about degree outcomes and average starting salary. So hopefully everyone can see my slide, because everyone can see this now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this shows the average starting salary, and this is across all of ASU engineering. This is not just for electrical engineering students. It shows common job titles and our top employers. And you'll notice that a lot of students, once they graduate, stay here in Arizona. And a lot of these companies and a lot of the industry is here locally. So we really encourage you over the next couple of years to get involved, meet your faculty, decide if you want to do research, and potentially do some internships. So you'll want to coordinate with the Engineering Career Center to find some internships available for you to broaden your knowledge and help you decide what you want to do in the future, if graduate school is for you, and if so, which program. Do we have any last questions?
Yeah, actually, I do have a couple of questions. Thank you guys so much for being here. I think this has been a really lovely presentation. Oh, here, I should probably put video. My big question kind of stems from being able to find outside resources on where the best options are to go from here. So like obviously at this point, as was previously mentioned, I mean, we could go into medical fields, physics. I mean, becoming a lawyer is also not exactly out from the table. But I think a lot of weighing these questions and options comes from having like kind of a diverse amount of information about different fields plus like one's own skill set. And I was wondering if you guys could point us out to some really like good solid resources or solid questions to ask regarding choosing certain career paths, simply because, you know, you guys have taken the time and, you know, figured out like especially where you wanted to be in your fields. So does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a big decision, right? What do you want to do with your future? Should you do graduate school or should you go into the industry? And I think truly your best resource for this is going to be any of our faculty. All of our faculty have made this decision already before. Now, why did they make this decision? Why was it important for them? What interested them so much in this topic that they decided to dedicate their lives to it? Go to office hours. Office hours are not just for class problems. You can talk to your faculty about anything, anytime. We also post all of our faculty's office hours on our website. So if you're doing some research and you think, well, I think I might be interested in this topic. Oh, and one of our faculty does research in that topic. Reach out to them, see if you can go to their office hours or make an appointment with them to discuss what are your options and why would that interest you in the future? And where can you go with this degree? So a lot of our faculty have their PhDs in electrical engineering. We also have some from physics. Dr. Aberly mentioned earlier that we have a lot of faculty that work with the School of Earth and Space Exploration. So electrical engineering is very broad. You have so many options that it can definitely be overwhelming. So talk to your faculty to see why they chose to do this, and maybe something they say will resonate with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Yes, so the recording for this Pathways event will be with our others on the website. It might take us a little bit of time to get it up and going, but just check back to that website. And we'll make sure that a copy of the presentation that Annalisa did for the 4+1 that has all the hyperlinks and important information is on the website as well. We have about 5 minutes left. Any other questions? Alrighty, well, we'll go ahead and wrap up then. Thank you so much to all of our faculty who were able to participate today. And if any of you have any questions, reach out to your advisor. We're here to help and get you connected to the proper resources.
Mhm.